Hello and welcome back to another episode of Pages from Ted Greene's Modern Chord Progressions. Let's get modern with our chord progressions today on page 64. 64, starting us off with a 3, 2, incorrect. Let me say that again. A 3, 6, a 2, a 5, that is excessively stretchy. My lord, Ted, come on, man. That's a bit absurd, especially on this extended neck. It's going to be a little more feasible on a standard guitar. Let's hear it again. 3 and... Once again, we've got a lot of the flat 9 in the bass going on here. Let's see what's next. 2, 3, and... That one's a little more approachable. Two, 3, and... Into the G major add 9. This is a cool one. That move. Notice the bass line, right? You're going from the root of the 1 to the major third of the 6 to the root of the 2 to the root of the 5. Let's hear it again. All right, that's an E9, the major third on the bottom, D9. One more time just for fun. And 2, 3, and it's a but. Hey, yep. Hey, it's a yada. One more time, that's a yada, bada, dada. A million points if you can tell me why this is an E7 flat 9, right? Where's the flat 9? Going once, going twice, going thrice. It's on the D string, that F natural note, right? We've got the major third on the bottom again, followed by the flat 9 in the middle of the chord. There's the 5th, there's the flat 7, the E string is left alone. Notice this is about the bass motion, right? The bass is going G, G sharp, A, D, that's the G. Boom, G sharp, A, D, and resolve. Ba-boop, 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 ba-boop. Where to next? Here we go on the 3 chord. Now this shape here, this movement, right, of learn this one, my friends. This is very almost used too often, really, but this is a guitar move to have inside your pocket. 1, 2, 3, and... So Ted's kind of hanging with this. I will often find myself using that chord, this sort of augmented stack on the 5, right? Even though it's really a flat 13, but another day we can talk about that. 3, and... That's nice. Now check out this G major 9 with the stretchy town. And think about the melody there. Where's the melody's going? Just going up the scale more or less, right? If we're in G, the melody is the major 7, 1, 2, 3. which is, you know, not too crazy. But you put all those chords underneath. Whoopsie daisies, let's do it again. That's let's do it one more time. And resolve. What's next? Let's find out. I said, what's next? Let's find out. It's this guy. Check out this not new, but another way of hitting that D7 flat 9, right? It's our B minor 7, E7, A minor 7, this guy. That's a nice shape to have, right? You've got the root, the flat 7, the flat 9 on the B string, and the major third up top there. It's a handy dandy shape, a little bit different than what Ted's been presenting the past couple pages. Now we've got the one chord in an inversion. This guy. And now think of the bass movement there. Bow, 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 bow. Right, that's the third of the one chord, the flat 5 of the E7, flat 5, and the root of the A minor chord, also known as the 2 chord, and the root of the 5. We've got really something that makes that particular progression what it is that melody motion, right? What's the melody? It's going G to G sharp to A to B flat. The melody itself is chromatic, and then you can finally lead it into the major third of that one chord to give us that sense of arrival, right? One more time, I'll put it in motion. Here we go. Hey, very nice. And you know, this is a cool thing to think about, this E7 flat 5, right? Oh boy, yeah, there we go. There's a couple of ways to fret this thing, right? I'm doing fingertips here. I've got middle fingertip, ring fingertip, pinky fingertip, index fingertip. Now, how am I getting that top pitch? I'm using what's called the fifth finger technique. I'm using the knuckle of my index to come down and get that G sharp on top, the major third of E, right? Now, of course, we could call this chord a B flat 7, sharp 11, right? It is the tritone sub of the E7, right? But we're also, it's very important to be able to see multiple sides to a collection of pitches, right? Yes, we can interpret this as a B flat 7 of some sort. However, right, this is our 6th chord, and so we might as well be able to interpret it in relation to E, right, our 6th, right? And that would mean the flat 5's on the bottom, followed by what? Followed by the major third, yes, followed by the 5th. Oh boy. Followed by the flat 7, followed by the root, followed by the major third again. And that is a little bit complicated. But broad brush, hey man, on a E dominant chord, you can play a B flat 7 of some kind. In other words, your tritone subs, right? You got to sub them in and out, like when you're subbing in LeBron, right? The tritone of LeBron might be Pascual Grasso. All right, we're moving on. We're moving on. Okay, let's do it. G major 9, 3, and hear that melody. That's cool. Pop, pop, pop. Forgive my sloppiness. Ugh, gosh. I'm walking to him a little bit. That's a cool, and that's It's a cool 7 flat 9 to have. It's tough though, right? I've got ring, middle, pinky, middle. So the middle's doing a bit of a bar here. And then you have to make sure you avoid that top E string and get that top pitch with your index. My goodness. I'm jumping all over the page. That's not even what's next. One more time. Here we go. Yeah, I'm hopping around. Forgive me, guys. Here we are. 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. But you know, in a certain sense, that's kind of what you want to be able to do. You kind of want to be able to just create your own 1-6-2-5 or 3-6-2-5. And this can become very deep, right? Especially as you start bringing in substitutions and alternate ways of interpreting the chord, right? One of the most wonderful things I ever learned is, you know, how do you know what to substitute for what, right? How do you know, right? If it says E7, how are you going to know to put in a B flat 7, whatever or the other, right? And this was told to me by a guitarist whose name I can't remember, but I'm gonna quote him in the comments or in the down in the description, right? And he just said, look, just think about the 3rd and the 7 of the chord you're playing or you're wanting to put a substitution in for. What's the 3rd and 7 of the chord? That's an easy answer. The 3rd and 7 of E, G sharp, and D, right? Okay, so any chord with a G sharp and a D in it, any chord with a G sharp and a D in it, that's a huge array of harmonies, okay? And they would all, in theory, work, and often they do work, and often they're quite surprising how beautiful they are, how much they work, and how much them not working is actually quite pleasant, right? To hear a little bit of that shift in space-time that works, right? Enough talking. Let's keep going. We're getting something interesting now. Look at this G major chord. That's the 3rd on the bottom, the root, and followed by the 5th and the 9. Now here, Ted's making an important distinction here, right? He's calling this an F minor 6-9, which it is, right? But earlier he probably would have just called this what he calls it above that, which is an E7 sharp 9 flat 9, right? All of these chords we've been playing with the flat 9 on the bottom, right? Well, now he's asking us to not only see that this is an E7 flat 9 sharp 9, but it is also simply an F minor 6. It's a minor 6 chord, a half step above the root, right? E7 to an F minor 6. They share the same essential pitches. They share that 3rd and 7th. And so the essential quality of the harmony, because 3rds and 7s are extremely orienting and character defining, and I would love to tell you more about why that is, but we don't got time, right? But anyway, because the 3rd and the 7 are there, right, that F minor 6-9 chord is going to work beautifully because it has the 3rd and the 7 of carried over from that E chord, right? Even though they are not necessarily the 3rd and 7 of the F minor chord. They're not. They are the flat 3rd and the 6 of the F chord, right? So this is a huge idea here, everybody, right? If you want to substitute a chord, just ask yourself, what's the 3 and 7 of this chord? Or even more, I think more deeply is, you know, what is the character defining notes of this chord? What are the character defining notes of this chord? Perhaps it's not a chord with a 3rd and a 7, right? But what are those notes? Okay. What other chords have those notes? You make a little list. You go D, 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 and you'll have a whole list of substitutions that you can try. All right. Pretty cool if you ask me, but who asked me? Not many people. We're moving on. A 1, a 2. Oh yeah, anyway, why don't I play this thing? I was like, I didn't even play the whole thing. I just started talking about F minor chords. Yet again, that E minor 6, or rather a minor 6 chord serving as a 7 altered, right? Half step above that D. Love me some G notes, man. One more time. I'll try and put it in time 3. Man. Damn it. One more time. Is that a bad word? Oh, man. I'm sorry, just keep doing my little outro solos. Because I'm like John Mayonnaise. Okay. 1, 2. I think I know what to do. It's... That's fun. So what's going on there? That's pretty cool. This G major 7. That's quite a voicing. Important. Use that pinky, my friends. E7. Notice initially the melody keeps getting higher. Sorry about that little crunch there. Right, so that melody's going yeah, yeah, yeah. And then it drops. It drops. Let's hear it all though. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was definitely an error in there. I want to try it again. You gotta forgive my eyes, my friends. I'm mixing up things here on the page. But notice it's all the same thing, right? Sort of, kind of. The same thing done in a different way. That's like the old Makin' Love, right? It's the same thing, but there are so many ways to do it. It's like music, right? I do think one of the most accurate metaphors for music making is the old S to the E to the X, right? Because generally when you first start doing it, you really want to do it, and you're just awful at it, right? But you keep trying, and before you know it, it's feeling great, right? And if you're not careful, it might wind up producing children. So you got to be careful, okay? So let's keep going here. Let's see what's going on. I'm going to try it again. We got... That's a cool sound. Let's mosey along here. We've got this. Very beautiful stuff. And yeah, I probably need glasses, my friends. I'm sorry. I'm mixing up the progressions here. Let's look at this one again. This is grand. This D7 chord. Interesting, eh? Do you hear that? Now what's going on there? It's really just that 5 chord is giving us some magic juice because the flat 7's in the bass. Oopsie. Subtle error. Very disappointing. Yeah. And good times. Good times. Starting on the 3 chord. 1, 2, 3, and ooh. Ooh. I'm trying it again. And this D7. Thanks for sticking through this with me, y'all. I appreciate it. I'm going to use this magic sticky note so I don't lose my place on the page. Won't that be wonderful? Check this out. This is cool. We've got G major, add 9, G major 9 rather, to this E13. This is cool. And one more time, that's why right? I mean, I like that, but can you feel that minor feeling to it? It's cool, man. Good stuff. I like it a lot, right? 1, 2, 3, and moving along. A little bass line in there. Oh, that's tough. These flat nines with the pinky reaching. It's tough. One more time. I try it again. And now here, this is cool. Ted's presenting the bass note as an option, right? It's not necessary, which is great because it gives us cool sounds. It gives us, right, it's a little more, it's melodic. And this is the kind of stuff you're going to want to play if there's a bass player in the house, right? You're going to want to leave the low end a little more open for that bass player. And this is something you can do with all of these voicings, is ask yourself, can I leave out the low end or the high end, right? Can I just voice the third and the seventh? Right, in different contexts, sometimes you want less harmony. Others you want more harmony. And you got to consider, and even with the same group, right? It's a matter of timing, right? Is now the time for the pianist to fill the space? Or is now the time for the bass to fill the room and just have a moment with the bass and the singer, right? Like, and then is it time to really enter these lush harmonies into the sound, right? Things to consider. Oh, I got to use my sticky. I've already lost my place, but we're learning as we go, aren't we? We are learning as we go. And yet again, that one. Look at this. My friends who don't use the pinky, start. One of the simplest things to do is to just play scales on one string with the pinky. That'll start getting it working, right? Use the pinky. We need to use the pinky. 3 and the pinky and the brain. Right, pinky and the brain, right? When we play guitar, what are we using? Generally the pinky and the brain. Fun. Oh, moving the sticky down. We're almost done here. 20 minutes on page 64. My goodness. Notice all those options Ted gives us. That would be the flat 13, the 13, and all the way to the flat 7. I can't quite get that stretch. Oh, moving along. Now, that was it for the key of G. Towards the end of the page, he takes us to the key of B major. These are some cool shapes, cool movement here. We haven't really seen this quite yet, right? So we're going 3, 6, 2, 5. And notice that the 3 and the 6 chord, right, are minor 7 chords, right? Or that's what Ted's calling them. They're minor 11 chords with the 11 on the bottom, right? Then for the 6th chord, I'm still thinking in G for some reason. Hang on. Yeah, so for the 6th chord here, it's flat 7 in the bottom. Back to the 11 on the bottom for the 2 chord, and then once again flat 7 on the bottom for the 5 chord. That's a very cool sound. And notice that the flat 7 becomes the 11 of the next chord. That is, the flat 7 of the 6th chord becomes the 11 of the 2 chord and remains in the chord, of course. Flat 7, and well, let's just resolve to B. slowly. One more time. It's yeah, 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 yeah. Those are good chords to have, very friendly in the hands, and they got some punch to them. Got some punch. Moving along. Same key, similar area. Let's check it out. 2, 3, and. That's nice. And am I happy to say it? I don't know if I'm happy to say it, but there is a typo in this particular progression. The C sharp minor 11, that's at the 9th fret, not the 7th fret. We have a typo on page 64. I'm actually curious if in your book that same typo is there. Let me know in the comments below. Shareth, subscribe, comment below, right? 2, 3, and. No, and. And these, to me, these shapes aren't that bad, because you get perhaps an unusual way to bar at first glance, right? We're not doing the big bar chord, but these partial bars, and especially when the flat 7's on the bottom, you get the bar sort of in the middle, right? And that tritone between the flat 7 and the major third of the chord. Right? Anyway, enough of that. I was just moving down the old fretboard there. Almost done with this page. Thanks for hanging out. 26 minutes. Good for you. Hope you're playing along. 3, and. Try it one more time. Good times. All right, last progression on the page. It says sneak preview. Ooh, let's find out what this is. 3, and. Let me try that again. That's beautiful, but I think I made an error. And then resolve. So what's going on there, right? We've got our 3 chord. Now instead of the 6 chord, he's going to a flat 3 minor 7. And I'm not really inclined to consider that a minor 7. He's calling it a minor 11 flat 9. I can see that, but anyway, I'm more inclined to think of that as some sort of F7 chord, believe it or not, but we'll talk about it another time. I just want to get through this progression. See here, even Ted's not sure what to call it. He says F sharp 13 flat 9 with a question mark next to it, and then product of moving lines, right? Here, it's as if the entire chord progression is being brought into existence through voice leading. It's less about this chord followed by this chord followed by this chord followed by this chord, but it's more so what is a way to move the voices, right? What is one way to start here and get, at least in this example, at this C13, C major 13. What are some ways to get from here to here? And maybe to here, right? Well, this is one of the ways. One of the ways again. This is one of the ways. Good times. All right, that's page 64. Wow, whole half hour on that. Thanks for sticking around. Hope you done learned something. If you want to learn more, study with old me, Johan, little Oscar over here, and of course, whoever this guy is, right? If you want to come learn with us and learn some music, click a link somewhere or leave a comment or give me a call I'm looking for 3 students in this very moment. Could be different tomorrow. Are you one of the 3, or are you 3 of the 1?